a witch who lives in a hut that walks on giant chicken legs, a fence of glowing skulls, their jaws grinning in eternal silence. Sometimes she devours children. Sometimes she offers wisdom that changes destinies. She is as terrifying as she is mysterious, and her name is Baba Yaga. Few figures in world folklore are so strange, so haunting, or so unforgettable. For centuries, villagers across Russia, Ukraine, and Poland whispered her name with fear. Baba Yaga was not merely a character from bedtime tales. She was a presence lurking in the endless forests, a shadow at the edge of firelight, a warning to children who strayed too far from the path. Her legend was not distant mythology, but living caution, woven into everyday life. Her hut was no ordinary home. It stood upon enormous chicken legs, towering and restless, able to stride through the woods as if alive. Some say it spun endlessly in circles, groaning as it turned, while others claim it wandered across the wilderness, appearing only to those fate had marked. To stumble upon it was to step into a realm of danger and magic. Around her hut stood a grisly fence of human bones, each sharpened into a stake, crowned with skulls whose empty eyes glowed like lanterns in the night. The fence was both protection and warning, a grim marker that separated Baba Yaga's world from the safe world of men. Those who crossed it knew they were entering a place where death was close at hand. Baba Yaga herself was described in many ways. In some tales, she was a withered crone with iron teeth, long tangled hair, and a nose so sharp it could touch the ceiling when she lay down. In others, she was a towering sorceress, her body filling the hut from wall to wall. Always, she was unnatural, and always, she was terrifying to behold. Unlike the broomstick witches of Western lore, Baba Yaga flew across the sky in a mortar, steering with a pestle and sweeping away her tracks with a broom of silver birch. To see her hurtling through the air, hair whipping in the wind, was to glimpse a nightmare come alive. She travelled not as a frail woman, but as a force of nature. Yet Baba Yaga was not always a simple villain. She was unpredictable, embodying both cruelty and generosity. Some stories tell of her devouring children, boiling them alive in her oven. Yet others show her offering guidance to the lost, giving tools and wisdom that help them survive great ordeals. In her, terror and salvation were never far apart. In the fairy tales of Russia, a hero often stumbled upon a hut in the deep woods. To survive, they had to speak the right words, show bravery, or perform impossible tasks. Failure meant death in her oven, but success could win her grudging respect. She was not defeated by strength, but outwitted through cleverness, courage, or hidden kindness. One famous tale tells of Vasilisa the Beautiful, a young girl sent into the forest by her cruel stepmother to seek fire from Baba Yaga. Armed only with a magical doll her mother had given her, Vasilisa faced the terrible witch. Instead of perishing, she won fire in the form of burning skulls, which destroyed her tormentors and freed her from cruelty. In another story, a prince sought out Baba Yaga for wisdom. She gave him tasks no man could survive, sorting heaps of grain overnight, crossing forests filled with wolves, and fetching water from the edge of the world. With help from magical animals, he triumphed. In the end, Baba Yaga rewarded him with guidance, proving that her cruelty was also a test. Why was she so changeable? Some scholars believe Baba Yaga was never meant to be simply evil or good, but instead a reflection of the natural world. The forest itself can be deadly, filled with wolves and hunger, yet it also provides food, firewood, and shelter. Baba Yaga embodied both sides of that truth, neither merciful nor malicious, but something greater. Her name itself is tangled in mystery. Baba is a word for grandmother or old woman, a figure of age and authority. Yaga may mean horror, disease, or pain. She is both grandmother and terror, wisdom and suffering. Her very name captures the paradox she represents, a figure of both nurture and destruction, one foot in comfort and one in fear. In many ways, Baba Yaga was a threshold guardian. standing between safety and peril, childhood and adulthood. To pass her trials was to grow stronger, to face the raw forces of life and death without protection. She embodied the journey of transformation, where survival required courage, cunning, and sometimes sheer luck. Every meeting with her was a test of the soul. Even her hut was rich with meaning. With its strange chicken legs, it seemed alive, restless, impossible to trust. Some scholars believe it was inspired by ancient Slavic burial mounds raised on stilts, places where the dead were placed between earth and sky. To step inside was to enter not only her world, but the space between life and death itself. To approach her hut, one had to recite a ritual phrase: little hut, turn your back to the forest, your front to me. Only then would the door reveal itself, creaking open like a mouth. Without these words, the hut would never allow entry, reminding us that the world of Baba Yaga was never open to the careless or unworthy. Her oven was the most dreaded part of her dwelling. In it, she roasted her victims, the flames licking at flesh until nothing remained. Yet in other stories, it became a place of transformation, where a hero was symbolically destroyed and reborn, emerging stronger and wiser. Baba Yaga's oven was not only death, but the crucible of change itself. Baba Yaga's power was tied to the creatures of the wild. She was often surrounded by flocks of black geese, serpents that slithered through her hut, or wolves prowling at her feet. Sometimes these beasts served her, snatching away children or tearing apart intruders. Yet at times they turned against her, aiding a hero who had shown them mercy in earlier trials. Her role in folklore was not simply to terrify. She embodied lessons. She taught caution in the wilderness, respect for forces beyond human control, and the value of bravery in facing the unknown. To encounter Baba Yaga was to face the wild heart of the forest itself, a force that demanded respect and punished arrogance. Some believe Baba Yaga may be a survival of ancient Slavic goddesses, stripped of divine titles after Christianity spread, but lingering as a distorted memory. Her role as both destroyer and helper fits the archetype of primal mother figures, who gave life with one hand but demanded sacrifice with the other. She may be a fading echo of forgotten worship. In modern times, Baba Yaga has not faded into obscurity. She appears in children's books, novels, animated films and video games. From Russian folklore retellings to blockbuster Hollywood films, her name still carries weight. Even John Wick, the relentless assassin, is whispered about as Baba Yaga, showing how her image has become shorthand for unstoppable, terrifying power. Yet despite these modern reinventions, the essence of Baba Yaga remains unchanged. She is still the unpredictable force in the woods, still the witch who tests those who cross her path, still the presence whose nature cannot be neatly defined. It is this refusal to be simple or one-sided that has allowed her legend to endure for centuries. To children of the villages, she was a warning not to wander too far into the forest. To storytellers, she was a character who could shape tales with danger, mystery, and dark humour. To scholars, she is a puzzle, a symbol of the ancient past that still clings to the present. Baba Yaga is never just one thing, never easily explained. Her stories remind us that the forest was never just a place of trees. It was alive with spirits, dangers, and mysteries that shaped entire cultures. Every shadow concealed a secret. Every clearing could hide a presence. Baba Yaga stood at the heart of that landscape, a figure who embodied the awe and dread of the untamed wild. Even today, if you wander deep into an old forest and feel the silence close around you, the stories feel alive. A creaking in the branches might be the legs of her hut shifting in the gloom. A distant call could be her black geese circling overhead. In such moments, the forest itself seems to whisper her name. Baba Yaga is not simply a witch from old tales. She is fear and wisdom, cruelty and protection, death and rebirth. She is the wildness of the forest made flesh, the trial that stands between weakness and strength. As long as her stories are told, she will stride through the woods in her walking hut, forever haunting the edge of human imagination. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more great stories. Cheers.